Hello, everybody, and good evening. It is very, very chilly here in the UK in London, so I'm wearing my big woolly hat and my jumper. Sorry, I'm not as smartly dressed as I normally like to be. I like to wear a shirt in these live streams, but regardless, it's cold. Nonetheless, the fight must go on, and I'm bringing you big news today. Former Home Secretary or Shadow Home Secretary Diane Abbott has joined the fight against Scientology. She has called for a full investigation into Scientology's activities and what she claims to be fraudulent activity and financial activity in the UK, which is huge. This is something I've been working on. I first started talking to Diane Abbott back in September. I tease quite a lot on this channel that I'm working on lots behind the scenes that I can't tell you about. And this is one of those such things. I received a letter from Diane Abbott yesterday, and I can now share it with you guys, where she calls for a full investigation. So before I share that with you, I just want to say hello to everyone in the chat. Hello, Rachel. How are you doing? Lisa Lupin. Hi, Alex. Looking forward to this. An MP doing something. Your work is getting out there. Keep going. So proud of you. Thank you, Lisa. Yes, indeed. So for those of you who don't know, Member of Parliament, that's like a representative for your area, your constituency here in the UK. Diane Abbott is the longest serving Black Member of Parliament in the UK. She was actually the first Black female to be elected to Parliament back in 1987, I believe it was. And she has been in a variety of roles across government. She's incredibly well established in the UK Parliament, and it's amazing that she has joined the fight and not just said that she will look into it. She has written to HMRC, which is His Majesty's Revenue and Customs, that's the tax office in the UK, asking for a full investigation, which is huge. And if you guys don't already know, I have a blog which I call ScientologyBusiness.com. There's a link in the description. This is the article that was released earlier today that I'm going to be talking through. This is the letter from Diane Abbott herself, which I'll be reading through. And if you want to go and make sure you keep up to date, that is where I share most of the news that of things I'm working on first. So go and sign up to email notifications, subscribe to Scientology Business if you would like to. There's also a petition, change.org/Scientology, if you want to sign and say that you also agree that Scientology should not be infiltrating the government. Please go and sign the petition. Before we get into it, I also want to say, if you want to share, like, subscribe, comment, that's the stuff that helps support the channel. There is also channel memberships. I'm going to gift 5 memberships to you guys right now, so make sure you turned on gift memberships. Memberships are not a huge thing for me in terms of, I don't do exclusive content, but what I do, if I upload a video that's edited, I give it to members generally about 24 hours before it goes to the public viewership. So you get early access, but also you get these cool little emojis, SPTV, there's David Miscavige, and a couple of L. Ron Hubbards and Janet Laveau as well. So yeah, that's what memberships are. Anyway, let me first off share with you the email. So I wrote to Diane Abbott. Jessica Beach, did you instigate her questions? Yes. So in September, I wrote to Diane Abbott, and I said, Scientology was rejected by the Charity Commission in 1999, but continues to operate in the UK through an Australian registered charity called Church of Scientology Religious Education College, Inc., which is COSRECI for short. During my time on staff, I was locked in a room and told I couldn't leave until I confessed what I'd done wrong against the church, and was paid an average of £20 a week for holding a full-time position working for the church Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. In January of this year, Scientology won a minor legal victory in the UK after their buildings were deemed places of public worship and thus exempt from business rates. Now, a little aside for you guys who perhaps aren't in the UK to understand, there are lots of different tax systems in the UK. Business rates is one of those weird, awkward ones where it's not quite a property tax. It's also not quite a business tax. Essentially, if you run a business in the United Kingdom and you're using a property to do so, like a shop, for example, you have to pay your local authority what's called business rates, which is a tax based on the size of the property you are using for the business, but you only have to pay that if you're a business. You don't have to pay the business rates if you are living in the property, if it's residential. So it's a business property tax, weird one. But regardless, Scientology buildings last year were deemed places of public worship. So they are exempt from paying that business rates tax now, because places of public worship don't have to pay. However, this lawsuit was based almost entirely on their Sunday service, which is advertised as free and open for all to attend. However, church policy makes it clear that you have to be a Scientologist in good standing to attend, which is in complete contradiction of the 2023 ruling. Evidence also exists that Scientology has been engaging in potentially fraudulent activities in the UK for years. Its accounts filed with the Australian Charities and Non-Profits Commission reveal a surge in UK income through the years 2013 to 2018, which coincides with the Chase Wave, a well-documented case of Scientology committing fraud, which resulted in Chase Bank blocking payments to the church in the United States. Since speaking out, I've been the victim of fair game, which is the church's tactic of attacking and discrediting former members. Hate videos have been made about me online, and my website has been subject to a sustained program of prolonged hacking attempts, which I believe can be linked to the church. As my local MP, I was wondering whether we could meet to discuss, and I could share some more information with you about this situation and see if if any help you might be able to offer. That is the message that I sent Diane Abbott in September. And yesterday, I received the following letter from Diane Abbott. Much to my surprise, she's not only acknowledged what I wrote to her, she has gone and done some action off the back of it, which is amazing. So this is what Diane Abbott said. Thank you for writing to me about Scientology and what you have faced since leaving the Church of Scientology. Please accept my sincere apologies for the delay in responding to you. Well, Diane, no problem. And you certainly made up for it with this response. So you take all the time you need to respond to me, Diane. I'm very sorry to hear about the harassment you have faced since leaving the church. No one should face such a horrific campaign of harassment. I want to commend you for speaking out publicly. Now, one thing I also want to note is these attacks on Scientology business have amplified. When I launched the website, I got about 100, 200 attempts were made every day to hack into the website. Now, since the protest and since this work that I've been sharing on this channel on Scientology business has increased over the last couple of weeks, so have the attacks. And currently, about 1,000 attempts are made every single day to hack into Scientology business to try and gain access to the website. So their attacks are sustained and they are increasing. And this is what Diane Abbott is referring to here. On the matter of harassment and potential criminal actions by members of the church, I regret that as your MP, I'm unable to provide you with legal advice regarding whether the hate videos or hacking attempts you describe would constitute a basis for legal action. On this issue, I would advise you to consider seeking legal help if you have not done so already. Well, Diane, I have done so already, and that is something I'll be bringing more news to you guys about shortly. More broadly, I share your concern about the legality of some of the actions described. As you have said, Scientology has a history of fraudulent activity internationally, and other former Scientologists have also attested to the horrific treatment of former members. Now, this is where it's awesome. Like, Diane Abbott has so much respect of mine now from me. I have written to HMRC, who brought the case against the Church of Scientology for ruling that their chapel was a place of worship, urging them to look again at options to appeal this decision, and also, more broadly, investigate the church's finances for fraudulent activity. I will share with you any response I receive. Thank you for contacting me about this important matter. Yours sincerely, Diane Abbott. So that is the response that she gave me in full. As you can see, she's not just saying, that's horrible, I'll look into it. She has written to the tax office asking for a full investigation, not just into this tax ruling, the business rates thing that happened in January, but looking at their finances as a whole for fraudulent activity, which I think is a milestone in terms of this fight that I'm bringing against Scientology here in the United Kingdom. Hi, Mark and Claire. I'm guessing this is Mark. Blown for Good is in the chat. Keep up the great work, Alex. Thank you. And thank you for your support. Devotion Demystified, Austin. He is one of the guys who came out and protested with us in November, and I had him on my channel fairly recently. I am no Diane Abbott fan in general, but I happily stand by her on this. Glad she has the courage to speak out. That is exactly my point. This isn't a political video. I'm not here to assess or judge Diane Abbott's political views, her party, or whatever. There are obviously scandals that occur around any and all politicians, especially here in the UK. That's not why I'm excited. I'm excited at the fact a senior former member of the shadow cabinet, someone who is very well known and well respected in Parliament and has been fighting in the face of adversity for decades. As I mentioned earlier, she was the first Black female member of Parliament that was elected. She has time and time again been faced with challenges and being pushed down and told she can't do things. So of all members of Parliament, she is one of the few people who I really respect for taking this and saying, I don't agree with this, and actually asking the tax office to fully investigate, and also commending everybody else who has spoken out about their experience. She acknowledges fair game in this letter, and also she doesn't just steer clear and say they're a religious organization that some say have, done fraudulent things potentially in the past. No, she has outright said that Scientology have a history of fraudulent activity internationally. So she is obviously well briefed on this matter. She knows what she's talking about, and she's willing to take on the fight on our behalf. And so I am just overly excited and pleased about that. If you guys live in the UK and you want to join in the fight, I strongly encourage you to write to your local member of Parliament and perhaps include the link to this article and include this letter from Diane Abbott and say, hey, as my local member of Parliament, as a constituent, I would like you to also look into this, please, and petition for change here, because it's people like Diane Abbott and members of Parliament who can affect change in the UK, and it's really important we get them on board. So if you're in the UK, please write to your MP. And if you're not in the UK, that's also fine. You can write to your local if you're not in the UK, you can write to your local state representative if you're in the US, and you can petition change that way. And there's also change.org/Scientology, the petition. So guys, this is just a very short one. I just wanted to bring that update with you because it's huge. Rachel Harris, did their place in Paris open up yet? Seems to have gone dead quiet considering all their earlier hype. Maybe it shuttered for good. Now, look, with this one, I am keeping my ear to the ground, and I'm hoping to go out to Paris to be there for the opening of their Ideal Org, which there's been a few dates flown around recently. There was last weekend, there's this weekend. As far as I'm aware, it has not happened yet. It is due to happen, and I expect I reckon I'll probably get a day or two's notice, maybe 3 days notice ahead of the opening, at which point I will promptly book my flights and be there for the opening. But it is also very possible they're keeping it massively under wraps, and I won't find out ahead of time, at which point I will go to go and see the new Scientology building in Paris after it opens. But nonetheless, I will be there as soon as I possibly can. But as far as I'm aware, yes, it is still happening. Val, this would be a great topic for question time. Any idea how to get a question on there? Diane Abbott is a regular too. Look, all I will say is I've been working on this with Diane Abbott, particularly since September. It is one of a few things that I've been doing behind the scenes to try and bring this to the attention of the wider public. And I'm not kidding when I say there's stuff that I'm working on behind the scenes that I can't talk to you about. When I say I'm working on this full time, this is what I mean. This is the sort of stuff that I've been doing. This channel is important for sharing the news with you guys and engaging with the community, with the audience, and saying hello to all of you guys in the chat. I really appreciate that. And I love this little community. But the majority of the time that I spend fighting Scientology is actually offline, or it's at least not in front of YouTube. So when I say I'm working full time on this, I really mean it. And thankfully, this is an example of what happens when you pitch me against Church of Scientology. So, guys, that's it for now. I just wanted to bring that update with you to you guys. I will continue to bring updates. There is more happening that I can't wait to tell you about. If you want to support the channel, please like, share, subscribe, comment, all that sort of stuff. You can also buy me a coffee with the link in the description, or PayPal, whatever's easiest for you. But like I said, engagement is the best way of supporting my cause, my channel, because what that does is push this out to more people. You know, this is a cause a lot of people care about and a lot of people are fighting about. And this is the cause that I've chosen to make this channel all about. So if you want to support me, if you want to support everyone else that's on this battle, you can do that in all those ways we just said. So thank you so much, guys. And I will bring you more as and when it comes. And as I've always said, I'm on war footing and I'm not fucking about.